100 years ago, this hospital was full of young men who'd been wounded on the battlefields of the First World War. But the people here weren't just suffering from physical wounds. Many of them were terribly mentally scarred by the trauma of battle. By the end of the First World War, something like 250,000 British servicemen were suffering from the effects of a mysterious illness that no one had ever seen before. There were a dizzying array of symptoms, from inability to stand or walk, to violent shakes, muteness, night terrors, and photophobia. And the oddest thing of all about it was that none of these symptoms seemed to have an obvious physical cause. These men were said to be suffering from an illness that was so mysterious, so new, that had only just been given a name: shell shock.
The really terrifying thing was that no one could find a cure. But in the 100 years since the First World War, it has resurfaced in every major conflict.
I always say that when I came home, I was a psychopath. It's destroyed some part of my brain, which allowed me to lead a decent life.
We are trained to kill, we are trained to fight, but they don't actually tell you how to turn that light switch off, or not be that violent man again.
It's been called combat stress, battle fatigue, and PTSD. But however it's described, shell shock has continued to ruin the lives of hundreds of thousands of servicemen.
I remember thinking that maybe everybody would be better off without me.
World War I triggered an avalanche of psychiatric casualties that brought the issue of combat stress out into the open for the first time. 100 years on from what was one of the greatest mental health challenges of the 20th century, I'm going to scour the archives and meet combat veterans to find out why we still can't deal effectively with the trauma caused by war.
I want to understand what lessons, if any, have been learned from shell shock.